Hi everyone, welcome to Legally Yours. I'm here again with the lovely Jacqui Brauman from TBA Law. And in this interview, I was just really keen, Jacqui, to get to know a little bit more about the books that you've written, because you've written many books and you're a very esteemed author. So really keen to get an understanding of, I guess, why you started writing books and tell us a bit more about them.
Yeah. So there are really three little books that I've written, and they're legal guides for clients. So I've written them in ordinary plain English to try and, I suppose, give something to someone that they can pass on to their family members. So the first book that I wrote was called In Case of Emergency. And I wrote it because I really wanted to get through to families who have young children how important it is to do your estate planning, particularly around appointing guardians and making sure the money gets to the right place and in the right way as well. So that little guide really has 5 little case studies in it that goes through, and it has a couple of different variations for each case study, whether they do their estate planning, whether they half-ass their estate planning, or whether they do it as well as they can. So people can read their story and see what can and can't be done, I suppose. So that was the first one. The second one I actually did as part of my master's degree. So I wrote a thesis on your digital estate. So social media and the assets that you build up that are digital assets. Yes. It's still very topical, and a lot of estate planning solicitors don't cover off on it. But I wrote a thesis on it, and then I turned it into a book by putting a case study or story into each chapter.
Okay.
So you can read, the photographer who has a whole lot of their digital photographs stored in both Instagram and in Dropbox, and how to, if he passed away, how the family can recover those assets because they are, they're valuable. Absolutely. Or the person who writes, whether it's freelance writing or otherwise, they've got a whole lot of copyright material. And again, they're storing that in the cloud or a digital setting, Google Docs, and how the family can recover that, because it is a saleable asset potentially. Yes. And also small business owners as well, we're taught more and more to have our own, what's the word? Brand.
Yes.
Our own brand. And so, that can still be a valuable thing, the brand that you've built up for yourself. So.
And it's quite amazing, because you're 100% right. It's not something talked about in estate planning, but there's so much value and so much importance to it. And it's your imprint, there's some real tangibility in that. So amazing, fascinating stuff. And the third book, the third guide that you've delivered.
So it's called The Sandwich Generation. Yeah. So after trying to break through with estate planning with younger families for so long, I realised that they usually don't think about it unless there's been a death amongst their peers, or their parents are actually banging on about it. So the sandwich generation is the generation above the young families. So it's the parents whose children are now adults and they have young families, and they're also sandwiched between their own elderly parents in their 80s and 90s. So they are worrying about their elderly parents and what needs to be in place so that they can do what they need to do there. They're worried about their own estate planning, and then they're also worried about their kids, because they want to make sure that there's guardians in place for their grandkids, because they don't want to mess there. So that's the sandwich generation, and it seems to be particularly the women in that generation are the ones that are driving, making sure everything is in order, because they're the ones that tend to be left with a mess if it's not.
They all sound amazing and so important and vital. So how do people get a hold of copies of these books?
So if you want a physical copy, you can contact our office and we can post that out for you. You can also order it on Amazon. You can either get a Kindle ebook version, or you can order the physical copy from Amazon as well. And I do have the In Case of Emergency book actually free to download from my website. So you can get the PDF version from my website.
Fantastic. And that website address, tbalaw.com.au. Fantastic. Well, look, thank you so much. And, you know, I absolutely love the fact that, you know, something really vital and important to us at Legally Yours is we really do believe in education equals empowerment, equals engagement. People need to understand, you know, what they're up against, what questions they should be asking, and how important these issues are. So thank you so much for writing those books. And if this is resonating with you and you'd like to download those books, get a free copy of In Case of Emergency, head to tbalaw.com.au, or you can connect with Jacqui through our platform at legalyours.com.au. Thanks so much for joining me, Jacqui.
Thank you.